In 1988, Die Hard exploded onto our screens, launching Bruce Willis into superstardom and cementing Alan Rickman as an all-time great villain. But another face became instantly recognizable, even though no one knew his name. His 80s and 90s were full of punches, kicks, and guns in some of the biggest movies and TV shows ever. But ask anyone who he is, and they don't know his name. So, who is he? Why did a man who appeared in so many iconic Hollywood scenes not become a household name? Al Leong was born in 1952. Where? Well, that's a rather contentious issue because some say Hong Kong, others say America, Missouri. What we do know is that by the age of 10, he was living in LA. Now, whilst his history is quite spotty, one thing is for certain. He began learning martial arts at the age of 8, praying mantis style and then 5 family style. Trying to get any child pictures of this man is an absolute impossibility. Even pictures of him as a teenager and even in his early 20s are kind of hard to come by. Now, this is going to be a recurring theme on this video, as his actual past is a bit unclear. What we do know is that by the 70s, he was winning multiple martial arts competitions and catching the eyes of those Hollywood casting directors. They saw him as a new, nastier-looking Bruce Lee type. Those are not my words.
Hey, you're a racist now, father!
But the fact is, he had zero intention of getting into the movie business in front of the camera. He was actually behind the camera as a crew member and working on a TV show. And whilst working on a TV show, he was asked if he could show 3 girls some martial arts moves. Upon doing this, he was then told to get in front of the camera and just be part of the scene. And then on his next job, the same thing happened again. He was thrown in front of the camera. And much like all the action stars in this series, from these random set of events, he carved a career. In the early 80s, he was appearing in very small, almost extras type roles. In The Twilight Zone, Heart to Heart, which, side note, might have the best opening to a TV show ever.
This is my boss, Jonathan Hahn, a self-made millionaire.
Knight Rider, which, side note, might have the best opening to a TV show ever.
Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist.
And Magnumb PI, which, side note, might have the best opening to a TV show ever. He also then appeared in The Equalizer, Airwolf, The Fall Guy, and T.J. Hooker, which all have incredible opening credits. Nowadays, all you really get is this. Sorry, Stranger Things fans. This is a perfectly serviceable intro, but I mean, come on, look at this. But anyway, I digress. In 1986, he had his first big movie role in the underrated Running Scared, where he is credited as Henchman. But his real break came in the same year where he did this. In this.
Big Trouble in Little China.
In what has to be one of the most underrated movies of all time. His instantly recognizable face made him a standout in a movie full of standouts. The thing is, he wasn't actually cast in the movie. According to him, every single Asian talent in Hollywood was in the movie, bar him. He was actually delivering something on set, and the director, John Carpenter, asked him if he wanted to be in the movie. He said yes, and that was that. And he absolutely loved working with Carpenter, stating that he is a great person above anything. They worked together again on 1988's They Live. In the same year, he had a small, uncredited role in the TV show The A-Team, another show with an incredible opening credit scene.
Maybe you can hire the A-Team.
I swear this is the last time I do that. I promise. Now, if all of this name dropping isn't enough for you, I have more on the horizon, starting with 1987's Lethal Weapon, where he did this. To this guy.
It's a embarrassment to me. You look like a on heat, and if you get raped by a pack
sorry, wrong clip. To this guy.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Mel. Take care.
Bye-bye. Asshole.
No, that's the wrong clip as well. To this guy. In the following year, he did Action Jackson and the TV show MacGyver. I know I said that'd be the last time, but that was the last time. Now would be a great time to mention that all of these roles were initially blink and miss it roles. Whilst Leong was incredibly charismatic on screen and very memorable, he wasn't actually speaking in these roles. No Daniel Day-Lewis monologues or Arnie one-liners.
I'll be back.
His main characteristic was that he played henchmen, and we also know what henchmen do. Correct, they died. But for all of his memorable roles so far, and we're only in 1987, perhaps his most memorable role was yet to come in 1988's Die Hard, where he did this. Which is definitely the best part of the movie. And this also happened to him. That's kind of sad, I guess, but expected. In 1989, he managed to play Genghis Khan in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He didn't actually die in this movie, though.
Excellent!
The rest of his 80s were filled with various other henchman gets wasted roles, and the same into the early 90s. Until in 1992, he did the role which he himself dubs as his favorite fight scene, when he squared up to Bruce Lee's son, Brandon, in Rapid Fire. It's a memorable fight that showed that beyond playing a henchman with weapons and candy bars, he actually had some really good fight skills. And it's probably the movie that best displays his martial arts skills. For nearly a decade, Al was the #1 henchman. If a movie or TV show was being shot and they needed an incredibly great henchman, he was the main guy. He was a trained stuntman and martial artist. And he could act. And, most importantly, he had no ego about being deleted on screen. He was the Michael Jordan of henchmen. In the same year, 1992, the Mortal Kombat game had just been released. It was a smash hit. And with Hollywood circling the rights for the movie adaptation, Leong was the name being mentioned for the role of Shang Tsung, which would have been his biggest role to date. Instead, the role went to the legendary Kiri Hiroki Tagawa, who unfortunately sadly passed away just this week.
Finish him! Finish him!
Flawless victory.
However, a year later in 1993, things were about to change forever, as Leong was hit with brain cancer, from which he bravely recovered. But then he got shingles, and then as a final blow, his wife left him and took custody of his 2 kids. This left Al down and out. It was a crushing blow, and he felt defeated. This, however, didn't stop him from working. Perhaps the working took his mind off things, and he continued to do various projects like The Replacement Killers with Chow Yun-fat, Godzilla, not the good one, but the really bad one, Lethal Weapon 4 alongside Jet Li, The Scorpion King alongside The Rock, and his last really massive project was a TV show Deadwood in 2004, in another very small role. However, in 2005, Leong suffered a stroke, perhaps triggered by the brain cancer from over a decade earlier. He was in his 60s. This paralyzed his right arm and left him without the ability to continue practicing his martial arts, and also gave him severe memory loss, which is maybe the reason for the lack of knowledge we have about his childhood. It also kind of stopped his movie and TV career. Now in his 70s, he's still active on the convention circuit, and you can catch him on Cameo. And if all of this seems like a sad ending because of his health issues, and that he didn't quite get beyond henchman status, well, it's not as sad as it seems. The fact is that Al Leong never considered himself an actor. In his own words, he didn't care about achieving bigger heights as far as moving beyond being a henchman. He was always happy to be working in any role, and he was happy that he had that freedom. If he didn't like a production, he would just walk away if he didn't want to do it. He's extremely happy with how his life went as far as the entertainment business is. From a man who was just minding his own business behind the camera to what might be the most legendary henchman in movie history. Leong will remain an unsung legend forever. If you don't know his name, you've 100% seen his face before. From all the thousands upon thousands of actors who have came and failed since he first begun in the industry, how many of them can claim to have a scene as cool as this? Right, time for the ratings. For skills, Al was trained in Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, but also learned karate, wushu, taekwondo, Kali, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And his fight with the legendary Brandon Lee shows just how good he was. His fellow stuntmen and cast members were always full of praise for just how fast and talented he was. I'm gonna give him a 9 here. With movies, of which I will lump in TV here for him as well, he was part of some of the most badass movies of the 80s. Big Trouble in Little China, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, and many more, as well as some of the greatest TV shows of all time. And as I've done for this series so far, as long as you're in the movie or TV show, it's counted no matter how big the role is. It's a real shame that his health problems slowed down his ability to work, or I'm sure he would have been in some of the blockbusters of the 2000s and 2010s. I'm going to give him an 8 here. For screen presence, I mean, come on. And come on. The man is memorable. I'm going to give him a 7. For versatility, he's going to get the lowest in the series so far. He's openly admitted he's not an actor, and he really isn't. There's no debate here. He was a henchman, and that's as far as it goes. It's a 3 here for me. It's a real shame he didn't get a chance to do the role in Mortal Kombat, as I think he could have really flexed his muscles as far as acting goes. And this most likely would have led on to more acting roles. And legacy, I have to always return to the great Bruce Lee here, a man with not many movies in his resume, but his legacy is the greatest out of all the action stars ever. Leong is a name I've seen you guys mention over and over again in the comments. What a legendary man indeed. I wanted to give him a 10 here just for bants, but it's going to be an 8. And that's a final score of 35, placing him just above Arnie and G-Jar. Now, much like the G-Jar video, this was a hard one to research. He doesn't have a ton of info about him online, bar a few interviews, very brief interviews as well. But what an incredible part of movie history he is. Now, guys, we're getting closer to the Jet Li or Arnie video. Very close indeed. Which would you prefer? In the comments, put Jet or put Arnie. Thank you to all the names on screen here. You guys are amazing. And if you're watching this, you can be just as amazing by hitting the like button and subscribing. Also, it was my birthday this week just gone, so any birthday wishes can be directed into the comments. And if you like the iconic but brief career of Leong that was plagued by health issues, you'll probably also love the story of Ernie Reyes Jr. And you can watch more about him by clicking the video to your left. Peace out and big love.
This is Mrs. H. She's gorgeous. What a terrific lady. I take care of them, which ain't easy, 'cause their hobby is murder.